You are watching a KTVB special presentation in honoring all Armed Forces veterans and celebrating the 75th anniversary of the United States Air Force. This is the 2022 Idaho Veterans Parade, live from downtown Boise.
And good morning on this rainy Saturday, but relatively warm, I would say, considering the last couple of days. Welcome to the Idaho Veterans Parade, presented by the Idaho Veterans Parade Committee and presenting sponsor Albertsons. I'm Morgan Romero alongside Brian Holmes, and we are so happy to have Chief Master Sergeant Cedric Foster of the 366th Fighter Wing at Mountain Home Air Force Base.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
No, it's fitting because the theme of this year's parade is the 75th anniversary of the Air Force. 75 years ago it was created, and so that's kind of the theme of this year, which will be fun to see kind of all of the elements that we have attributed to that this year as well.
Yes, and your knowledge is going to be so helpful to our viewers who are watching at home right now. I'm going to send it to our Joe Paris, who is standing by on the parade route. Joe?
Hey, good morning, Morgan. Yeah, we are just along the parade route here, getting ready for everything. No joke, though. It is coming down out here, but we got a lot of people lining the streets here on Jefferson, right in the shadow of the Capitol. The Grand Marshal's getting ready. Morgan, Brian, it's going to be a great parade, no matter the weather.
All right, thank you, Joe. You know, we'd like to thank our sponsors here for the parade as well. None of this would be possible without them, of course. This year, if you take a look down the street here, we're on Jefferson Street, right out in front of the Capitol, and toward the west, there is a giant American flag hanging there, and it's over 8th and Jefferson, and has been proudly provided by Idaho Power, and they are great partners of the Idaho Veterans Parade and always thinking of ways to go big when celebrating our veterans, and they did that this year. Look at that thing. Walking in this morning when the wind was catching that flag and it was flapping, it was snapping so loudly. Yes, and it is going to be, I know, not an ideal situation for a parade, but you know what? Nothing better than a flag in the wind.
And look how many people are out here. They are braving this weather, and they are here to support our veterans.
Talking to Chief Master Sergeant Cedric Foster here, this is one of those situations where, I mean, you haven't done one of these parades before, right?
I have not.
You ever been in a parade?
I have.
What's it like to be in the parade as opposed to being on this side of it?
Well, that's a good question, because if the weather was like this, it wouldn't be pleasant.
Yeah.
But the fact that you get an opportunity to celebrate something like our veterans, I know most people think that active duty folks, this is our time to celebrate, but I also remind folks is that this is for the giants that we stand on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And so when we are doing something that actually celebrates people of so importance, then the parade is very, very good.
And you're new to Idaho.
I am very new to Idaho. I've only been here 5 months now.
That's amazing. How are you liking it so far?
Well, I mean, I liken it to New Jersey's weather. I'm not a big fan of cold weather, but it's not bad. It's a nice area. You know, you get to do all the outside stuff, so I'm pretty excited to be here.
Well, and you know what's so wonderful about our area, too, is we support our military, we support our veterans, and I'm sure you've seen that. We just have so much love and support for that community here in Idaho. I also want to mention this is the first time that this parade has been back in 3 years due to the pandemic, so we are so thrilled to have it again.
All right, we're going to move on with the parade, I guess. We're going to get this thing going, right? No more standing out in the raid. KTVB proud to introduce Command Chief Master Sergeant Kelly Bonjovi of the Idaho Air National Guard. She's going to kick off today's opening ceremony from the steps of the Capitol for the Idaho Veterans Parade.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Command Chief Master Sergeant Kelly Bonjovi, and welcome to the 20th Veterans Day Parade. Please rise for the presentation of the colors by the 366th Wing Honor Guard from Mountain Home Air Force Base. Remain standing for the invocation by Chaplain Robert Morris of the Idaho National Guard and the singing of the national anthem by the Boise Police Department.
Will you join me in your own faith tradition as we come together as a community to offer our prayers and blessings? Father, we ask you for your grace and your presence here today as we remember and celebrate and recognize those who served this great nation, duty, honor, and country. We ask that you would bless them, Father. Continue to guide them and direct them in their new journeys and their new chapters of their lives. Bless those who've served this great country and this great state. When they heard our nation's call, they responded to protect our freedoms and our way of life. We ask that you'd continue to be their guardian. May they stand in the presence of your wing and feel your strength and your courage. We thank you for those who care for them, those who serve our veterans. We pray that you would continue to guide them as well. And we thank you for the families of all those who stood behind those who've heard the call, who've answered the call of our great nation and state. May they be blessed as well today as we remember and recognize the acts of service that make this country great. We thank you today, Father, for those that are serving today in harm's way. May they be protected as they battle the evils of this world to keep all of us safe and the freedoms that we celebrate protected. Bless us now, Father, as we celebrate together in this wonderful parade, and may your reign subside just for a few more moments. We ask in your name, amen.
The Boise Police Department will now sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today's event. Please welcome the 366 Fighter Wing Deputy Commander from Mountain Home Air Force Base, Colonel Isaac Bell.
Good morning, everyone. Man, I love that song. It gets me hyped up. It's really great seeing this crowd out here. Glad to have the Veterans Day Parade back. Before we get started, I would like to begin by recognizing Governor Brad Little, the Honorable Butch Otter, Mayor and Mr. McLean, and several other mayors from around Southwest Idaho, Sheriff Clifford, General and Mrs. Garshak, General and Mrs. Swartz, General Donlin, partners from the Idaho Army and Air National Guard, and our Grand Marshal of the Parade, Major General Retired Manning. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate and honor our veterans. This Veterans Day, we get to celebrate the absolutely amazing men and women who sacrificed their personal freedom for their loved ones and our country. Not so long ago, during the Vietnam War, wearing the uniform was not looked upon so kindly. In too many parts of this nation, service members returning from a grueling war front were insulted, spat upon, and turned away. Fortunately, as evidenced by this wonderful crowd we have here today, we have an incredibly supportive community here in the great state of Idaho. I have to take a minute to shine the spotlight on our Grand Marshal of the 2022 Idaho Veterans Day Parade, Major General Retired Daryl Manning. Originally from Preston, Idaho, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force on June 4th, 1955. Later in March of '73, he joined the proud Idaho Air National Guard as a support pilot and operations officer for the 124th Tactical Reconnaissance Group at Gowan Field, Idaho. During his career, which spanned from the Cuban Missile Crisis through the Persian Gulf War, He earned over 25 military ribbons and decorations, including State of Idaho Emergency Duty ribbons. He has truly served our nation and this state. Throughout his career, he flew 13 different types of aircraft and accrued more than 14,000 flying hours as a command pilot. Absolutely mind-blowing. What cannot be quantified, however, is the immeasurable impact he has had on veterans and this community during that time. We thank him for his service. Altogether, General Manning served 40 years in the Air Force, and there by his side the entire time was his lovely bride, Rochelle. These facts cannot begin to truly delve into their story or highlight the wonderful, humble people they are. But General and Mrs. Manning, thank you for your 4 decades of exemplary service and sacrifice to our great nation. We couldn't ask for a better person to be our Grand Marshal for today's parade. Now, very few veterans will serve for 40 years. That doesn't make their service any less meaningful. Your service was invaluable no matter how long you were in. You are a part of our nation's single greatest asset. The select few who answered America's call to service, placing the defense of our nation above yourselves. Those of you who have returned to civilian life now work in your grocery stores, your banks, your farms, your real estate agents, they're in your police force. Whether you're aware of their service or not, these selfless women and men are woven into the very fabric of your society. We can thank U.S. Marine Colonel retired Gary Randall for founding this parade in 2001. He was the one who made sure this parade became a tradition, and his vision was for us to celebrate every veteran, regardless of branch, regardless of career, regardless of length of service, and we thank him for that. Every single veteran out there has helped secure the liberties and freedoms we too often take for granted. Thinking of their service brings a quote by Ronald Reagan to mind that I'd like to share with you all. Freedom is a fragile thing and is never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation. And as you can see by the procession today and all the amazing veterans out there in the crowd, we stand on the shoulders of giants. In the state of Idaho alone, 9% of your people are veterans. That's incredible. We enjoy the freedoms we have only because of those who have come before us. Freedoms that must be fought for and protected no matter the cost. Our way of life is possible literally because of you. To all veterans, I say thank you. We say thank you. May God bless Idaho, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Colonel Bell. Chaplain Morris will now give the benediction.
Hey, before I pray, I just got to say today, United States Army versus United States Air Force in college football. So if you don't mind, Colonel Bill, I'm going to ask for a blessing for the Black Knights. Is that okay?
Go ahead, you need it.
Go Army, beat Air Force. Father, as we come now to celebrate this great union, I pray that it would not be our differences that separate us, but our similarities would bind us together in a sense of community as we recognize the importance of serving both country and our brothers and sisters in our nation. We thank you for this great day. Bless us now, and may we celebrate with a spirit of unity. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Morris. Parade the colors.
That was the 124th Fighter Wing. It was opening the parade with that awesome flyover consisting of 4 A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft. The parade starting here now, right in front of us.
Yep, that's a great start. We're listening to the 25th Army Band right now. This band was led by the Commander Warrant Officer Shad Frazier. Originally organized in the fall of 1925 as the band's section headquarters, 116th Cavalry Brigade Combat Team. It's the largest formation of the Idaho Army National Guard. It was located in Caldwell, Idaho. Activated for a period of 5 years during World War II, by the way. They didn't just play their instruments, and they served in France. In 1954, the 25th Army Band was again activated for federal service and stationed at Camp Kilmer, New Jersey. There, they played a weekly radio show, which aired for 10 years. Pretty impressive. Returned to Caldwell in 1956, and then resumed their National Guard status. In 1988, the band moved to Gowan Field in Boise, Idaho. Currently based and performs regularly here in the Treasure Valley.
And this is Grand Marshal Major General Daryl Manning, born in Preston, Idaho, went to Utah State, commissioned a second lieutenant through the Air Force ROTC program when he graduated. He completed flight school in 1957 and has since accumulated over 14,000 hours of flight time in a variety of aircraft.
40 years in the Air Force, Chief Foster. You looking for that?
I am looking for that.
Nice. Excellent. And there we have Governor Brad Little, an American politician. He's, yeah, of course he is, 33rd governor of Idaho since January 19. He's a member of the Republican Party, served as the 42nd lieutenant governor, by the way, prior to that, before becoming governor in 2019, running for office again this year.
And Major General Michael Garshak, the commanding general of the Idaho National Guard.
There's a memorial float this year as well coming up. This one is, there's Garshak's little Jeep there. It's pretty cool. And that's the picture on the side there. That's the one I was going to talk about. Walt Smith served as the then Boise Veterans Parade Committee Chair from 2016 to 2018. He was passionate about celebrating and honoring our veterans. So that's why he is being honored today. Walt passed away earlier this year, by the way. The Jeep we see today that is holding his picture, proudly his own and being driven by his son and other family members. There goes the motorcycle crew. We love those guys coming through with the
POW flags.
Yes. I think we're a little out of order on those guys a little bit, but let's see if we can catch back up here. The tricycle's even out today. All right, so this would be, who are we looking at here?
Let's see.
That's the wrapping up of the motorcycle crew. The 158 still missing, the sign says there, from the Boise Valley POW MIA Corporation. The Freedom Flight balloon is coming up here as well, it looks like.
The POW Corporation, by the way, was guided and directed by the National League of POW Missing in Action Families in Washington, D.C. Right now, there are 8 Idahoans missing from Vietnam, 23 from Korea, and 322 missing from World War II.
And there is the balloon that represents them in the Boise Pride, or excuse me, the Boise Balloon Fest every year. And it's various events throughout the valley. And Joe is down there with them, I believe.
You know, it's a little loud, Brian, because they keep pulling it, but this is the Freedom Flight Incorporated, and this is Pilot Luke. Pilot, you guys are warming up the parade.
Ooh.
We are the parade heater. We're also here for awareness.
We can feel it.
Tell me about the Freedom Flights. What do you guys do?
Freedom Flight's been around for 33 years. We have 4 POW balloons that travel all over the world, and we're all volunteers. And just promoting the issue, telling people about the 80,000 that we're still missing yet today.
Well, thank you, Pilot Luke, so much, and the Freedom Flight crew. Brian Morgan, back to you. We're riding away.
See if you can get that thing to turn around here, Joe. I can feel the warmth even from this far away. It's pretty nice. Coming up next, the Idaho State Veterans Home. They're carrying a bus, of course, filled with veterans that live at the Idaho State Veterans Home. Excited to be part of the parade once again this year, and they proudly serve those who have served our nation.
I'll walk down and then grab
And
them.
this is Boise Mayor Lauren McLean. Mayor McLean is riding with her husband, Scott. We are so thrilled to have the mayor part of this Veterans Parade today. Chief Foster, how cool to see so many elected officials, too, here from the local Treasure Valley area and beyond.
I mean, I think one of the most important things that we do in the military is get to know who our local political folks are, and then also build those relationships, because that's so important to what we actually do every single day.
Yeah.
Coming up here, just the Airman Leadership School.
Yes, it is. Are you familiar with this?
I'm very familiar with this.
What do you know about the Airman Leadership School?
So here's what I'll tell you about the Airman Leadership School. This is the first time that we get to go to professional military education where they bring us together to help us understand that it's not just about being a military member, but the whole airman concept is so important, right? And they teach us a lot of the basic things that kind of put us on course to be educationally minded in the military as well. So we don't want to have folks that just serve. We want them to be better than we got them.
And these are our community college Air Force affiliated program.
Well, this is going to be the first time that they get the opportunity to do something that goes toward the community college of the Air Force degree.
Okay.
Yes.
And it prepares airmen, guardians, and staff sergeants, correct?
Yes.
There's your mayor there from Mountain Home, where you are now stationed, Rich Sykes.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Do you?
Yeah?
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Aww.
He's my hero. He think I'm his hero, but he's actually my hero.
Well,
He's very involved in the
He's
base.
very involved. Yes.
It's a big part of his
Yes,
job
he is.
to support you guys. And right here, Chief Foster, we have Idaho Air National Guard, which is a reserve of the Air Force, headquartered in Boise. The Idaho Air National Guard supports state and federal missions and includes the 124th Fighter Wing and its A-10 aircraft, as well as other specialized units.
Yes, absolutely. We see them as our teammates, right? It's a total force Air Force, total force team, so we need them.
And following right behind, of course, is the civil support team. The 101st works with local and federal agencies, detecting and preventing weapons of mass destruction that use chemical, biological, and radiological weapons. That's the two vans that you see following the big van in front.
And we love our ROTC, our junior ROTC. This is Bora High School. Their junior ROTC and color guard. It's made up of cadets from 6 different schools actually in the Boise School District, including Bora, Boise, Capitol, and Timberline High Schools, West and South Junior Highs as well. JROTC started in 1916. It's been its mission to motivate young people to become better citizens. This specific program has been around since 1919 and is the oldest Army JROTC program in the Northwest. The cadets performed over 900 hours of school and community service last year. It's led by retired Lieutenant Colonel Stan Peterson and retired First Sergeant Bob Lee Karen.
Were you part of that ROTC program, Chief?
I was not.
No? Okay.
I had a daughter that actually was a part of the junior ROTC when she was in
awesome.
school. Exactly, yeah. Phenomenal.
And the Vet Center provides resource development, networking, and counseling for active duty service members and veterans. Of course, that is invaluable.
Yes, absolutely. We all need counseling and mentorship no matter how old we get.
The 366th, you see the big tractor on the back of the flatbed truck there. It's towing the trailer, the lowboy trailer, Caterpillar road grader on top. The pavements and equipment section of the 116th, better known as the Dirt Boys, responsible for the maintenance of the 35.5 million square feet of base pavements, 13.5 million square feet of airfield pavements, 15 miles of security fences, and the 14 miles of fire breaks around that area. During the winter months, they utilize special snow removal techniques and equipment to combat an average of 11 million cubic feet of snow annually, supporting the wing's 832-hour flying programs. Pretty impressive.
Yes.
We've got the 266 Range Squadron stationed at the Mountain Home Air Force Base, helping prepare warfighter pilots training using realistic electronic warfare by way of threat-emitting radars. They're towing a TRTG, which is a tactical radar threat generator.
You can see the Daughters of the American Revolution there coming up next. The National Society was founded in 1890, headquartered in D.C., Washington, D.C. It's a nonprofit, non-political, volunteer women's service organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for our children. Joe, you're down there along the parade route with them.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And walking with the Daughters of the American Revolution, tell me, why is it meaningful for you guys to be here today?
It's an honor for us to be here. Veteran support is a huge part of what we do. We appreciate our veterans. Our organization is made up of those first veterans who served our country. So for us to be able to come out and thank them, show our appreciation, and let people know a little bit more about what we do, it's our honor to do that.
And it really is a reminder. I mean, this goes back to the inception of our country, military service, thanking our veterans.
It does. That's the one link we have. All of us in the DAR now are related to patriots who gave us our country.
That's pretty fascinating. Well, enjoy the march. We'll see you guys soon. That's the Daughters of the American Revolution.
All right, Joe, thank you. Awesome to see that. We've got the 1919 Model T next. Lizzie is a 1919 Ford Model T driven by her owner, Susan Truman. Her passenger is a World War I doughboy representing the generation of veterans who served in the Great War. Formed the American Legion and are responsible for the foundation of Veterans Day. Truly, I didn't know that. On November 11th, 1919. A little bit about this beautiful vehicle. It was first produced in 1908. And it continued production until 1927. It was the first automobile to be built on an assembly line.
And coming up behind him in the big, or them in the big truck, the red truck, is the Honorable Butch Otter, past governor of Idaho from 2007 to 2019. Born in Caldwell, by the way, went to the College of Idaho with a bachelor's degree in political science. He actually served in the Idaho National Guard from 1968 to 1973 and worked for 30 years for the Simplot Corporation. And he was in the House of Representatives, lieutenant governor for a time, and again, former governor, ending his reign or his term in 2019.
So here's what I'll tell you. This is the Mount Home marching band. These young folks, the fact that they're getting out here this early in their careers help them understand the importance of supporting our veterans. And so when we can start them off early, man, I promise you we will not end our support for our veterans. And so this is phenomenal to see these young folks out here, especially in this type of weather.
Yeah.
And they're doing it with pride, and they're looking very, very nice with their colorful uniforms on.
Have you seen them play before down in Mount Home?
I have. I actually went to a football game and saw them perform. I thought it was phenomenal because the band is small compared to how I grew up.
Yeah.
But what they do is awesome.
And next, we've got Brigadier General Farron Schwartz from the Army National Guard. Brigadier General Schwartz is the Assistant Adjutant General, Army Commander of the Idaho Army National Guard and responsible for the strength, training, readiness, and management of all Army National Guard units in Idaho, actually. Commissioned a second lieutenant on May 14th of 1988 through the Army ROTC program. There's the ROTC again, upon graduating from the Idaho State University with a Bachelor of Science in Engineering.
I mentioned all the cities that are taking part in this parade, the southern Idaho cities, and one of those would be Mayor Robert Simonson of Meridian. Served as mayor since January of 2020. Previously was the chief of staff for the mayor since 2007. Simonson was also a staff member for the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Energy and Commerce. And before or shortly after taking that role of Meridian's mayor, he was appointed by President Trump to serve on the Advisory Council of Historic Preservation.
And next, we've got Team Rubicon. Their mission is providing relief to those affected by disaster or crises, no matter when or where they strike, by pairing the skills and experiences of military veterans with first responders, medical professionals, and technology solutions. Team Rubicon aims to provide the greatest service and impact possible. Through continued service, Team Rubicon seeks to provide our veterans with three things that they lose after leaving the military, and those are a purpose gained through disaster relief, community built by serving with others, and identity from recognizing the impact one individual can make.
And you can hear the roar of the motorcycles, right? The Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, chapter 13-2. They have members from the Vietnam War up to currently serving, active and reserve of all branches of the military. They offer fellowship for their members, and donate money and time to the veterans in need. So an integral part of the Veterans Parade and veteran services here in southern Idaho.
And for now, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have much more of the 20th Annual Idaho Veterans Parade.
I love your.
Okay, great. I've got the American Legion with me. Drive like a hair slower. There. Want to make sure you get enough TV time. Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah, keep going for sure. I'll get in trouble if I stop the parade, I was told. I was told if I stop the parade, I'm in huge trouble. That's why they told me. They said you cannot do that. All right, here we go. Good morning. We are live on Jefferson this morning for the Veterans Parade here in the shadow of the state capitol in beautiful Boise, Idaho. And it really wouldn't be a Veterans Parade without the American Legion. Joining me this morning, tell me, what are your thoughts? A beautiful morning, right?
Beautiful morning and a really good crowd to put out. They're really cheering us on.
Tell me a little bit about the American Legion. What is their interaction with this today?
We've sponsored the parade for many years. Long time, and it's just one of the many things that we do. We also have other things that we sponsor. We sponsor the Boy Scouts, and so we're always trying to get out and be in these type of interactions with the public.
And you and the Vice Commander this morning, of course, we thank you for your service. What does it mean to you when you see all these Idahoans lined up in the cold and rain?
There's just no way of saying how much that makes us feel so good.
Well, thank you all of you for your service, and we'll let you go along your way. Again, the American Legion here in Boise. Brian, Morgan, everyone, we'll see you soon.
And Joe, there are several chapters of the American Legion in this parade today. 127, and we have one from the Treasure Valley. The 4 pillars they stand for: Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, National Security, Americanism, Children, and Youth.
The American Legion Riders of the Treasure Valley members are made up of American Legion Auxiliary and the Sons of American Legion from all over 10 Legion posts across the Treasure Valley. Currently, there are over 110,000 American Legion Riders meeting at over 2,000 chapters in every domestic department and in at least 3 foreign countries. The American Legion Riders are nationally well known for their charitable work as well, and that work has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. As you can see, the riders are part of many projects and events not limited to annual fundraising motorcycle rides, charity events in support of American Legion, and local communities, memorial ceremonies and parades, riding to honor fallen military personnel. We've seen them in those celebrations of life as well, escorting military units for departure and welcoming them home upon their return.
Coming up in the Army Jeep behind them, the Vietnam Veterans of America Chapter 1025. They raise money to help local veterans in need, helping the veterans and communities and those serving in harm's way. That is as you see on the side, a 44 Ford Jeep used, I assume, during World War II, right? That would be pretty impressive.
USMC, so Marine Corps.
Yeah.
You want to scoot back?
Chief Foster, your decision to join the Air Force, what was that based on?
Well, some people say it's patriotism, but honestly, I was looking for a job. And so I joined the Air Force, actually looking for a job, and so stability, and the Air Force actually gave me that. And so I never forget, we all join for different reasons, but it's the thing. It is my why. Yeah. It's why I joined, and so, and I love to give back.
That's impressive. I mean, as you said, just kind of like something to do, but now you're all in.
I'm all in, and honestly, they probably won't have to kick me out of the Air Force, because I do really love what I do. I love to serve. I know freedom is not free, and so I love doing what I do.
Like our speaker said earlier, I mean, it's something that we here in America take for granted, but if it weren't for the sacrifice that you and your fellow military service members make, we wouldn't have that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it is just not us; it's the families too, right? And so a lot of times when I'm out, my wife is a single parent when I'm gone, and I'm gone a lot, and so she has to sacrifice a lot, and my son have to move a lot as well.
Yeah. Builds character, though, right?
Yeah.
As you mentioned, a family is a huge part of veterans and the military and all those who serve.
Yes.
Coming up behind them, Idaho Power. We talked to you about the flag that they put up just on the west side here toward 8th Street. We're on Jefferson, as Joe said, right in front of the Capitol building. They have the huge flag that all of today's participants are walking under on the parade route. They're proud to sponsor the Veterans Day Parade, again displaying the American flag over the street. More than 2,000 employees. I want to say thank you to all of our veterans for the selfless service and sacrifice that you all put in. Happy 75th birthday to the U.S. Air Force as well from Idaho Power.
And behind Idaho Power, you can see the law enforcement vehicles. In one of those is Ada County Sheriff Matt Clifford. He's the 39th Ada County Sheriff, and the Sheriff's Office is responsible for policing unincorporated parts of Ada County, as well as the fastly growing cities of Eagle, Kuna, and Star, for which they have contracts. The Ada County Sheriff's Office is the largest local law enforcement agency in the state of Idaho, with more than 800 employees, including more than 400 commissioned deputies. The Ada County Sheriff's Office is committed to giving every single citizen the best possible service. The main goal is to ensure Ada County is a safe place to live, work, and play.
You can see there walking up behind him, Ride for 22 seeks to serve as living memories for our fallen and increase public knowledge and awareness of PTSD. And I believe Joe is down there along the parade route with Ride for 22. Joe?
Joe, we'll send it to you.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Morgan. Sorry, it's loud here within the motorcycles. But yeah, walking with Dane here with Ride for 22. Dane, tell me a little bit about Ride for 22, what they do here in the Valley.
They are an amazing organization. They're dedicated to raising awareness for veteran suicide. Statistically, 22 veterans take their lives every day. Their awareness and their efforts in our community try and help prevent that, try and bring those numbers down best they can. Most of all, it's just about support and bringing the community together.
And it's a crucial thing to draw awareness to. And thank you, Ride for 22, for being here this morning. Of course, veteran suicide and supporting our veterans, a real big part of this Veterans Parade. They go and do a lot for us. In return, we try to support them the best we can.
All right, Joe, thank you. We had the Caldwell Mayor, Jerem Wagner, with his wife, Lisa, pass by. And now we've got Garden City Mayor John Evans, who was elected in 2005. He has served for a really long time in the city of Garden City. John Evans grew up and was educated in the Midwest, a Vietnam veteran himself. John and his wife, Judy, were married in 1969. They have 3 children. Get this, 12 grandchildren. Lucky them, and even 5 great-grandchildren.
Wow.
John and Judy moved their family to Idaho in 1975 and to Garden City all the way back in 1988 when it was probably just a little tiny dot on the map of Idaho.
And it has certainly grown and improved around Garden City, and he has been a part of that the whole time. All right, looking at Boy Scout troops following Mayor John Evans there, you can see we have several Boy Scout troops out here this morning. Lining up behind. Even I didn't realize the Boy Scouts had a mascot, me not being part of the Boy Scouts. The Girl Scouts went through before. Yep. I will say they did not bring any cookies, so if you're looking to buy cookies today, do not bother them. They didn't bring any cookies with them today. But here are the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. This is Troop 404. And Pack 100, I believe, is right behind them.
And Cub Scouts Pack 33 as well.
The little ones.
Yes.
And so the Scouts is one of those services that, you know, this is what they learn a lot of this outdoor, take care of yourself, kind of, you know, survival kind of techniques that, of course, anybody that goes into the military uses.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that there's a lot of that kind of going into people who have been in the military, have had experience in the Scouts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think had I gone and been a part of the Club Scouts or the Boy Scouts, I'll be that much farther along. I had to learn this stuff once I got into the military, because when we deploy, we have to use a lot of those skills.
Absolutely.
Chief Foster, I would love to hear you talk about the 366 Ford F-350 CBRN response vehicle. That's the emergency management, correct?
Yes. So, you know, I have a CE background, so I'm a civil engineer background, and what these folks do, the emergency management folks, is we like to say they train for any type of crises that may come. And so a lot of times our folks get bored with what they do because they train so well, and a lot of times they don't get to use those skills. But it is such a skill set that we need. So when things like hurricanes happen and all of that, they're activated, they're ready to go. I like to say they're prepared for crisis before crisis.
Following that up, Blue Star Mothers of America, formed during World War II, was congressionally chartered as a veteran service organization in 1960. Treasure Valley chapter of the BSMA was chartered in 2009. The Blue Star Mothers, all Blue Star mothers of children or grandchildren who have served and were honorably discharged from or are currently serving in armed forces across the country.
Sorry, Brian, to cut you off. It was loud. As you can hear, this is Fairmont and River Glen Junior High School bands. The combined bands are pleased to participate in this parade again this year. These kids are 8th and 9th graders and so talented. They're under the direction of Eric Larson and Matt Patterson and joined by the cheerleading teams from Fairmont and River Glen Junior High Schools as well.
As we listen to the band play us out, we are going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more of the 2022 Idaho Veterans Parade on KTVB. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the 2022 Idaho Veterans Day Parade out here in front of Idaho State Capitol. Well, I wouldn't say a optimum day for a parade, but the rain has stopped. The street is lined here across Jefferson, and it's a pretty good day for a parade.
Yeah, we have got so many people lining this parade right now. I'm seeing a ton of veterans, too. And at this moment, we want to honor the Idaho Army National Guard who's passing by in front of our cameras. We are supporting and celebrating the veterans, soldiers, and the great state of Idaho, the Idaho Army National Guard citizen soldiers who are from our local Gowan Field units in Boise. And like you said, they're really your partners in this.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love to see the Army out here, but I want to say go Air Force, beat Army.
I was going to say that. We had that from the benediction earlier, Air Force beating Army, and right now the score is Army up 7-3.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the second quarter, so we got plenty of time. Go Air Force, beat Army.
There you go. You got it in. Thank you, Chief Foster. Look at that beast of a vehicle.
Oh, wow. Chief Foster, what do you call this? Do you know? I know it's not your forte, but.
It is a Hummer, but I don't know what the actual name of it is. It's just big.
It's just
big, yes.
Climb up in that thing. I mean, that is an armored vehicle if I've ever seen one.
And if you go out south of Boise into the desert, you see these things driving all over the place, going back to Gowan.
Yeah, it's a big piece of toy.
It is. But you can see, I mean, there's a lot of aspects of that. I'm not sure how many people can fit in there, but it is, like I said, a well-armored vehicle. Got a spot up top, several spots in the back, and it is well above the ground to avoid
what I'll tell you is as our veterans actually look at that piece of equipment, they're probably thinking, had we had that back in the day, things would have went a little bit different, you know?
Absolutely.
Technology advancing all the time. We have a few more elected officials. Mayor Gordon Petrie, City of Emmett, the Mayor of Star, Trevor Chadwick, and now Sheriff Kieran Donahue of Canyon County. He is serving his third term as Sheriff of Canyon County. He holds an executive certificate with the Idaho Peace Officer Standards and Training, which is POST, and that is the highest level certification in the state of Idaho.
There he is in the Canyon County vehicles, the sheriff's vehicles coming up there, as you mentioned, Sheriff Donahue in that first truck. And then right behind them would be the Ada County paramedics. Just a little bit further down, the 911 EMS services for Ada County, obviously working hand in hand with all of the law enforcement and emergency services here in the Treasure Valley, specifically in Ada County.
And behind them, we've got Trail Life USA. That is a church-based, Christ-centered, boy-focused mentoring and discipleship journey that speaks to the heart of a boy. Established on timeless values derived from the Bible and set in the context of outdoor adventure, boys from K through 12 are engaged in a troop setting by male mentors where they're challenged to grow in character, understand their purpose, serve their community, and develop practical leadership skills to carry out the mission for which they were created.
It's kindergarten through 12th grade, this group.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
And we've got Trail Life USA Boise, which is Troop Idaho 1412. Their goal to train young men to walk worthy of being upright men of God in all manners of life.
And I believe that's where Joe is, either down there with the Trail Life USA troop or with the American Heritage Girls. Who are you with, Joe?
Hey, I'm with the Trail Life USA boys.
Nice.
I just met these guys. Guys, what do you think of this parade so far, huh? The Trail Life team here, they got a nice fire. They're all comfortable here on the bales, and it's a great morning. But let's learn a little bit more about Trail Life USA. I'm just going to scoot right here. Tell me a little bit, what are you guys doing out here today?
Trail Life, we're just trying to show everybody a little bit more about our program that's been around for 9 years, and we're a outdoor organization that is faith-based.
And you got the boys out here this morning in the rain and the cold supporting the veterans. I mean, what a great lesson for young men.
Yes, it is, and we wanted to say thanks to all the veterans out there.
All right, boys, what do you guys say on 3 thanks for your service? 1, 2, 3. All right, there you go. From the Youth of America, Brian Morgan, back to you.
I don't think Joe's going to get off that float. He's sitting on a hay barrel, and he's got a fire. That looks so cozy, like the folks watching at home. Comfy cozy. All right, Joe, thank you.
Well, not to be outdone, right behind them, the American Heritage Girls, Idaho 291, is also a Christ-centered character and leadership development program for girls 5 to 18. They are dedicated to the mission of building women of integrity through service to God, family, community, and country. Nemo Arms, committed to research and development to deploy advanced, highly accurate weapon designs. Look at that. Wow. Technologies as well that enable our partners in special operations, federal law enforcement, and the private sectors to effectively and confidently carry out their missions.
And you can see the banner for T-Mobile. They have military veterans and their families walking in this parade. These veterans are now T-Mobile employees. So thank you, T-Mobile, for taking part in this 20th Idaho Veterans Parade.
The line continues. You see somebody who looks like Lincoln on the back of that truck there. Which float is that? Look at that, the Idaho Civil War Volunteers.
Okay. They're presenting living history on the American Civil War, and you heard that cannon go off earlier.
There's Abe Lincoln.
That is. That guy shows up at all the schools around the Treasure Valley when they have these field days and explains kind of what life was like during the Civil War. And he sells that part of Abraham Lincoln very well. I'll just tell you that.
Him in high school?
You never did? Well, it was actually middle school.
Oh,
the middle school kids go and
that makes sense.
Yeah, or it might be elementary now that I think about it.
And next, City is a local company based out of Meridian, Idaho. City Salutes is an internal network of employees that supports the United States military in our Treasure Valley community.
Behind them, there they are. They're shooting off some of their guns there. This is the Free Trappers, the Idaho Free Trappers organization. They honor all veterans.
The nonprofit club recreating in the Mountain Man era in Idaho in the period of 1820 to 1840. That was the Idaho Free Trappers. They dress in period clothing and they demonstrate the period of weapons, tools, and accessories. You can see on their float. Look at that.
He has to pack a rifle there. That's what he's doing right now.
Oh,
there you go.
They look very warm. In addition to wearing that authentic period clothing, the organization demonstrates use of tools, implements, techniques, and weapons of the early 1800s.
City coming up behind them with the truck. They have a few employees walking along the parade route in front of them. 75th anniversary. Look at their float. They've got the planes there. They've got the branches of the military represented, including Space Force on there, which is amazing. They're based in Meridian. City Salutes an internal network of employees that support the U.S. military in our community. So they're out here in force today.
And behind that, we've got the V8 Club. The owner of this vehicle is Truman Keith, and this is a gorgeous 1950 Ford F1 pickup. Beautiful red color. Gosh, they've taken care of that. In the past few years, they've had a World War II IWO GEMA veteran, Don Brown, ride with him. Don Brown died this year at the age of 96. What a life. He's also had veteran Tony Katz ride with him from the early Ford V8 Club. Tony Katz passed away this year as well, so we honor him today.
A couple of veterans lining up in these cars behind him, and this one, the blue 1940 Ford there, looking like Michael Schrader is inside that car as well. And the truck, the black truck, the Ford behind him would be Vietnam Army vet Kenneth Deely, sitting in the passenger seat waving to all those who've lined up along the parade route this morning.
Cars, when you see these parades, the cars are a big part of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I salute these folks because, you know, like the guest speaker said earlier, Colonel Bell, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and just to kind of see them in the life that they've lived and the reason why they served I'm humbled by these folks and how they look outside the cars and they're smiling and they're still having fun. And this is the celebration that they didn't get when they came back home. So it's good to see folks out here waving and clapping and giving them the honor that they truly deserve.
We've talked about this on a regular basis, how many World War II veterans we're losing on a daily basis, and it is significant. There's only a few left. Millions and millions have served, but not that many left, even across all these areas. But you look at any one of these veterans that you speak with, they're not going to say that they're heroes or that they need to be honored, but it's days like this that they really appreciate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, we're going to send it to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got more of the 20th Annual Idaho Veterans Parade on this Saturday ahead of Veterans Day next week. We're back after this. In 2:45, we're going to go back. Okay.
We'll take it all the way to the end. Okay. We're taking it all the way to 11, correct?
I know. That's beautiful. Oh.
Separates guys went by, so this would be
so cool.
State Reserve. Yep, that's what that is. And then we've got the Marine Corps League coming up next.
I know, I wish we didn't miss that.
This is the Marine Corps League.
This is the last one. We may have Coast Guard, but check it back. This is Coast Guard, yeah?
This is still Marines here.
Oh, it's Marines. 7-5. Yeah. You can do that? You can do that? That is awesome. Where was it? What was that? 30. Which one, Emma? USMC Reserve? Okay. No? No, we let it. Maybe we'll just mention that it passed. Coast Guard? Okay. Welcome back on this Saturday morning. In front of our cameras right now, we have the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. It was is the uniformed all-volunteer component of the United States Coast Guard. The auxiliary was created by an act of Congress back in 1939. Auxiliary members conduct safety patrols on local waterways. They assist in search and rescue. They teach boating safety classes, conduct free vessel safety checks for the public, provide boating safety literature to dealers, and many other activities related to staying safe while recreating on your boat. But the auxiliary is so much more than recreational boating safety. They regularly serve alongside active duty shipmates, serving as communications watch standards, uninspected passenger vessel inspectors, training resources for air and sea operations, and several other duties related to environmental protection and homeland security. And get this, they even serve as chefs.
They serve as chefs.
Yes.
Nice. The Lions Club coming up behind them. Founded in 1917, the Lions Club is. This is the Boise Bench Lions. Priorities are sight, hearing, diabetes, youth, hunger, environment, seniors, veterans, pediatric cancer. That's what they those are their causes they take on every year. They serve 70+ cities in southern Idaho. Each club determines its local priorities and Lions Club priorities, so they all kind of have to decide what is important to their local community. And they also concentrate on issues of public interest, nonpartisan, non-secular, promote good government and good citizenship.
They just gave us a little American flag, thanks to them. We have got Wild 101. This is Boise's home for today's hottest music.
Several honor guards out here today. The next one coming up the line is from the Boise Police Department. Their honor guard has been established to represent the Boise Police Department and the citizens of Boise. They show up at police funerals, parades like today, and other ceremonial occasions. It is their intention to assist all officers and their families during their time of duress. And normally we see these guys, it's a really somber occasion. Yeah. That's what their role is. They show up, as I said, to honor fellow officers at funerals. They show up for parades like this, and of course the other ceremonial occasions.
So we thank you, BPD, for your service as well. And behind them, the Idaho Chariots Car Club. Idaho Chariots Car Club started in Twin Falls in 1964. There were 8 original members. 6 of them went to Vietnam, and 6 were missing in action or killed in action. This club restarted in 2012 here in Boise, and current membership is over 1,600 people. 87% are veterans. They honor all veterans and branches of the military, and they support veterans assistance leagues here in the Idaho State Veterans Home. They've donated over $22,000 over the last several years, and the Idaho Chariots Car Club is on track to donate over $3,000 again this year before Christmas alone. Look at all these cars.
I'm not a car guy, but these are pretty sweet.
We've got the United States submarine veterans in this car right in front of us. What else we got, Chief Foster?
Well, you know, I'm not a big car guy either, but I love looking at them, and I'll tell you, the fact that they are still part of a club tells you, you know, the camaraderie that we have in the military, no matter what branch of service you serve in, is something that you still want to hold tight to once you're retired. I have a lot of retired friends that are veterans. And the one thing that they say they miss the most is the camaraderie amongst the service. So this is so good to see them, and then they still giving. Right. The amount of money that they give and just the time that they give to those that's coming behind them, I think is phenomenal. Yeah,
joining a group after getting out of the military, it's got to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lifeline, to be honest with you. Those that serve and don't have that connection, you'll see that they don't do so well once they are out of the military. So joining the club or being a part of a team is something that, you know, is ingrained in us in the military. And so it's just good to see. I would wish that once, they realize that money is fine, but a car would be better. Yeah. I'll take one of these cars.
Well, and it's so important. We have so many more organizations that are kind of popping up from a grassroots level that are helping give veterans purpose, too, because this is so much of who you are and your identity, and you seek that once you get out of your service.
Yeah, I mean, when you serve as long as I've served, the one thing that you realize is that when you get out and you don't have that camaraderie, you feel a little empty. You feel a little left out. Especially when you've served a long period of time, you have to find some common ground for people that have interests like you have. And so, like, when I look at these cars, these folks all have the same interests. And so I would imagine going into something like this, it's easy to serve, it's easy to give back when you are part of a team.
Chevy Malibu's out there. I saw a Chevy Nova go by. There's an old Ford truck. It's pretty sweet. And there's a...
So for a guy that don't know much about cars,
I can read the labels on them pretty well. That's an F-150 I can see there.
Oh, I love this color, that turquoise. That is awesome. Gorgeous. Again, this is the Idaho Chariots Car Club, which started in Twin Falls. And behind them, we have got the Boise Rescue Mission. And this time of year, they are such a vital lifeline for people in our community. This is a veterans ministry program of Boise Rescue Mission. They celebrate the employees and the guests of the BRM who are veterans or family members of veterans. We're so happy to have them taking part today.
Sadly, that's kind of the route a lot of veterans take. Is if you talk to any rescue mission and homeless shelter, a good percentage of them are veterans.
Right.
And that's, as you said, not being a part of something to give them some sort of direction or just the camaraderie, a leg up every time you need it when you get out of something that was so structured for so long.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think, that need to want to fit in is so important to the human psyche that when you're absent of that, that's when you start to struggle.
It's so sad. Behind them, Treasure Valley Hospice. Treasure Valley Hospice has a We Honor Veterans program. It performs gratitude ceremonies for veterans and volunteers at the Veterans Garden in Caldwell. Treasure Valley Hospice is one of 2 5-star rated hospice companies in the Valley and one of the preferred providers of the Veterans Administration, actually. It serves Gem, Owyhee, Ada, Canyon, Elmore, and Payette counties.
Grace Assisted Living comes up behind them, the big van there that you see right behind the blue truck. The assisted living facility is for seniors with several locations scattered around the Treasure Valley. The staff is there to make sure that anybody who is a resident enjoys the quality of life that they deserve. The goal is to make people feel safe, secure, and well cared for in their new home.
Okay, Chief Foster, look at that. Take a look at your screen or on the parade route. That is the potato that is going to be falling from the sky in front of this state house on New Year's Eve. The Idaho Potato Drop was created 10 years ago. It really put Idaho on the map as a world-class destination for New Year's Eve. Brian Holmes always MCs this, and it's always hilarious.
Welcome to Idaho, Chief Foster.
Yes.
Now, I love potatoes, but I'll tell you, that may be the largest potato I've ever seen in person. I get asked this question no matter where I go.
Yeah.
I go to different conferences across the world, and they say, where are you? And I tell them in Idaho. They say, they got potatoes? And that's the one thing that I get asked all the time.
Don't you think they're better than anywhere else you've lived, though?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
The heart of the Idaho Potato Drop, by the way, is promoting our local nonprofits and their missions. They've worked with veteran-related nonprofits every year to create and promote awareness. They're so proud to be a part of this, and they thank all veterans for their service.
There are the Meridian Lions Rodeo royalty passing by. Held third weekend of June every year. It's a fundraiser to help the Lions Club support their core mission of improving sight, hearing, and youth activities in the community. Senior Queen Hannah, Teen Queen Ava, and Mini Queen Brindley, they represent the rodeo and help raise awareness for both the rodeo and their services.
Series of cars behind them. This is Elite Restoration. They restore damaged properties due to wind, fire, mold, water, smoke, and radon. Serving all of southern Idaho, they are open 24/7, 365 days a year. Give them a call when you need them. You can see wind, water, fire on the side of their cars. With an hour or less response time, they're always there for you when disaster strikes. They are supporting today's parade because they appreciate everyone that is serving and has served our country. They want to take this time to remember, honor, and thank every service member and show their support.
Bob FM bringing us some music this morning as well. Rick and Carly in the morning coming up. They play anything on Bob FM, of course they do. Another military vehicle right behind them. It looks like this is the Caring for Families, the Legacy Corps Veteran Support Program, agingstrong.org. And there's also a tractor involved there, but you can see many of the military vehicles are coming up behind them.
Yeah, we're gonna stand up and let these pass by for a minute.
Got the ambulance behind them. This is the Legacy Corps. And the Idaho Military Vehicle Preservation Association. It's a group of people who dedicated themselves to saving, restoring, and showing off these vehicles that you're seeing today during the parade.
Oh, wow, that's
cool.
cool.
They have been used in the fight for our freedom. So there's several vehicles from several eras of and several branches of the military. You saw Marine Corps, there's the Naval Medical Services, the U.S. Army Jeep, and of course a little bit one that is a little bit more modern with the Hummer.
Ooh, yeah, we've got military, or Marine, Navy, Army, and then behind them, look at those snazzy Corvettes.
Yeah.
This is Valley Corvettes and vintage autos. We have gotten really blessed with some gorgeous cars today. They were first produced in 1927. By March of 1930, over 3 million Model A's were produced. They're very representative of the automobile in the 1930s, and they're featured extensively in the media of that era. Depending upon the model features and options, sales prices were only $500 to $1,200. Could you fathom a $500 car?
No.
No, I mean, it's so different back then, right?
Yeah.
In regards to how much things cost in the economy. But the top
Houses were
speed,
$8,000.
I can't even imagine. Top speed was 65 miles an hour.